Hi guys, and welcome back to Almost a Cinephile. My name is Becca. If you haven't joined us here before, we like to talk about all things movie and physical media related. Today is going to be a video all about my October picks and what I will be consuming for the month of October. So I've got a couple of piles of things. I've got things I'm going to stream, things I'm going to read, and physical media from my shelves that I'm going to be watching. I think it's really important to differentiate the difference between what I'm going to watch from my collection I already have behind me and what I'm actually going to stream still via either Netflix or our Amazon subscriptions. So what I will start with is I will go through the movies first, because I know most of you are here for films. And then I will briefly touch on books I will be reading at the end of this video. I do really love to read. As you can see, I do also have a few books behind me. Nowhere near the sort of kind of booktube or BookTok collections as you will see on the internet, but it is a nice small little library that I do have that I'm slowly making my way through. So this is going to be from my physical collection and what I've pulled off of my shelves. So the first film is one that I hauled in September, and that is Swiss Army Man. This is a story about a corpse. It's supposed to be satirical and it stars Daniel Radcliffe and Paul Dano. I haven't seen this. It's on my list this year to watch. It's been on my watch list all year long and I have not got to it. So when I found this and hauled it, I was really excited. So this is definitely one I'm going to watch this October. And obviously it wouldn't be autumn or October without it being a Meg Ryan autumn. I am going to be hitting up some of Meg Ryan's most famous movies that she's ever been in, and they both happen to be very autumnal as well. So this is When Harry Met Sally. I've not seen this for at least 10 years. It's my dad's favourite film. It's one of his favourite films anyway. So I hauled this. I talked about it in my favourite autumn movies and thought I had it but didn't show it because I couldn't find it, and it turns out I do have a copy of it. So this is what I'm going to be watching as well. And then obviously to round off Meg Ryan autumn will be You've Got Mail. I love this film. I've seen this a lot more times than I have When Harry Met Sally. I love Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan in this. It's like a really great, one of the very first enemies to lovers stories that's been out there. It's about rivalry bookshop owners that kind of go head to head to try and save, one's trying to save her business, and Tom Hanks has obviously come in with a giant corporate bookstore, and it's just about them being enemies and then eventually lovers. And then I'm hoping for the week of Halloween, which is right at the end of the month, obviously, to break into this. This is my steelbook slasher, greatest ever slasher movies of all time. This contains Hostel, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre original, Candyman, Urban Legend, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't know if I'm going to watch I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, only because I haven't actually seen the first one, so I don't really want to watch the sequel until I've done that. But I will at least be attempting to watch all these four before or during the week of Halloween, so it's gonna be interesting. I may film a few reactions as well, so that's going to be a much more interesting vlog style video I've got in my mind to do. So if you want to check out what I'm going to be doing for the week of Halloween, then this is one of the things I'm going to attack. And now moving on to films that I'm going to try and stream throughout the month. So the first one is Beau is Afraid. I have watched about an hour of this, and because I didn't realise it was 3.5 hours long, I had to get on with something else. I can't remember why I had to stop it, and I haven't got back to it, which I kind of feel like that says enough about the film itself. I love Ari Aster. I am a fan of Midsommar. I love that film. I don't know why people hated it so much. I really, really enjoyed it. And I was absolutely terrified by Hereditary. Still a really, really good horror film, and actually one of my favourites, because it scared me so much. I couldn't sleep for weeks after that film. But I was hoping Beau is Afraid would be very similar in pattern. And whilst there are really random images of really horrific things going on around him, it's a very unique and it's a very unique story in terms of Ari Aster's filmography that's kind of come previous to it. So I am going to carry on with it. I didn't hate it. The first hour was you really had to get into it and understand what's going on. And I understand why people really were put off by it. But from what I got, I quite enjoyed it, so I really want to carry that film on. The next film I want to watch is Dead Poets Society. I have no idea what this film is about, but I do know it's a top pick for people's like favourite autumn films, so I'm going to give this one a go. Another one in the same realm of autumny films that people usually watch is Good Will Hunting. Again, have no idea what it's about. I don't know anything about the film at all. I know it's got some pretty famous people in it. I always get confused between Dead Poets Society and Good Will Hunting. I know one of them has Robin Williams in it and Matt Damon. I can't remember which one is which. You will see on the screen next to me as I put them up, the pictures up of them. But I know one of the films has those two actors in it. A massive pick for me this month will be The Boy and the Heron, which has come to Netflix today as I'm speaking, the 7th of October. I'm so excited. I am a huge Studio Ghibli fan, so I'm really excited to see this film. I'm going to be watching it with the kids. We're going to make a proper movie night of it, but I'm so excited to see this. I know it's got like an all-star cast. I think it's got like William Dafoe, Robert Pattinson in it. There's a few other people, like really big names, doing the voices. I think Christian Bale's coming back as well. He voiced Howl in Howl's Moving Castle, so absolutely like cannot wait to see this film. I really hope, I'm really hoping it's not going to be disappointing. From what I saw the reviews come out of this film way back, a lot of people really enjoyed it, so I'm hoping we're going to be those sorts of people that enjoy it. A film that I feel like really fits the month of October that I really want to see is Melancholia. I really am fascinated by Lars von Trier. I know there are some people that just will not watch him. Antichrist is on my watch list for next year. I've already seen Nymphomaniac, and I think I've already seen Nymphomaniac 2 as well. Those two films sort of blur in my mind a little bit. And I've also watched part of The House That Jack Built, which I thought was fascinating and gruesome all at the same time. But it was really, there was a little bit of satiricalness to it, and it was quite funny, which I wasn't expecting. That's another film I need to finish. But I really am just really interested in this director. So Melancholia is one I really want to see. I think it's got Kirsten Dunst in it. And then another film to break into my get over the whole I'm scared of zombie films would be Train to Busan. I have heard so many things about this film, and it's supposed to be really emotional, as well as like you've got the horror side of it with the zombies. I, again, have watched part of it and didn't finish, so I want to finish this film and complete the Train to Busan movie. I've watched things like Parasite, and I really love international films, especially from places like Japan and Korea. They really fascinate me. So Train to Busan needs to be finished, so I want to finish that one. I also want to see Dracula. This is the one, I believe, I'm going to butcher who's in this film. I believe it's the one with Keanu Reeves in it, and person that plays Dracula is on the tip of my tongue. I've got Google right next to me. Why don't I even use it? I don't know. Gary Oldman. I had to Google it. Gary Oldman, and it's the Dracula by Francis Ford Coppola. I've not seen it yet, and it's a vibe apparently. Nosferatu is coming out at the end of the year, which I really want to see, so I'm super excited about that. And lots of people are also kind of saying that the vibe is very similar to the original Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, so I really want to give that one a go. Another film on the list that I've had on there for a really long time is Apostle, which is a Netflix 2018 film. I don't know if it's a remake of an original, but it has been on my watch list purely because if you watch the trailer for it, there's some really interesting, gross imagery basically around like heads and screws. Don't ask me why I'm interested in watching this, because I probably will be watching it from behind my hand or my phone. So this film stars Dan Stevens and Michael Sheen, and as I said, it's been on my list for such a long time, and I just haven't got around to it because I'm just too scared. So I'm hoping this month I will get to it. A couple of films that are very newly released will be Alien Romulus, which I really want to see. I'm just waiting for it to be released on streaming. I wasn't lucky enough to be able to see this in the cinema. It is a film that's set between Alien and Aliens. So it's right in the middle of those two movies. And apparently it's very much taking a lot of what Alien did and recreating that sort of vibe and look and feel. I know a lot of the things were taken from that film to recreate so that it felt like a very smooth transition. There's a lot of practical effects that were used in this film as opposed to more newer recent versions of Alien movies. So I'm really excited to see what it's about. I know it fell quite flat with some people and a lot of other people really loved it. I'm hoping I'm gonna love it. I like all Alien films. I've never not liked one. The only one I've not seen is Alien vs Predator 2, Requiem. I have seen Alien vs Predator, the first one, and I even liked that. I even like Alien 3. I'm just a big fan of the whole franchise, so I'm really hoping I'm going to be an even more bigger fan once seeing Romulus. And the other film I want to see is Longlegs. This was meant to be the scariest film this year. I have seen Oddity, which is comparably scarier, but I really want to give Longlegs a go and see what it's all about. I know Nick Cage is in it, and he plays like a serial killer, I think. I'm trying to go into it as blind as possible. I do not want spoilers. I've not watched any reviews for it whatsoever because I really wanted to see it for myself, but I'm really excited to check that one out. And the last film I'm going to be able to see in theatres this month. This is my one cinema pick, and that's Joker Folie à Deux. Now, most mini short reviews that I've seen that don't go into spoilers have blasted this film to smithereens and say they hate it. It's a much more musical vibe from what I'm gathering. My sister really wants to go and see it, so I'm going with her. I don't think there's anything else at the cinema that she would see alternatively to save money, but we're gonna give it a go and see what it's all about. I'm hoping I'm not gonna be disappointed because the whole thing is set up really well to work. Like, Lady Gaga can be an incredible actress. She did American Horror Story Hotel, and I thought she was really, really good in that. Obviously, A Star is Born, which is not so much horror. So she's not bad at acting in any capacity. I think she's gonna, if anything, be really, really good. And Joaquin Phoenix obviously is amazing and everything. And Joker was amazing. Like, it was actually, I found it more frightening because of how realistic that could be, as opposed to the more superhero, supervillain side of it all. I actually liked the more realism side of the whole thing. I may also give Joker 1 a watch as well, just to get myself up to date with Joker. I've only seen it once, and that was around the time it released, so I haven't seen it in a really, really long time, and I really want to catch up with myself. So I may also watch Joker before going to see Joker 2, but I'm really hoping it's going to be good. I'm so terrified it's not going to be good. So those are all the films I'm going to be hopefully watching this month, and now we're going to move on to books quickly. So the first book is The Doloriad. I think that's how you pronounce it. This is by Missouri Williams, and it's a book about like an environmental cataclysm and incest and weird things, basically. And I love weird books and weird films. I feel like that's my favorite genre in general. I love a little bit of horror, but weird films is like gets me, you know. So this is a weird book. I think I've only literally read 8 pages, and so far it's really intriguing. It's very much like very culty, very similar to like The Village, if you're kind of trying to compare it to a film. But as I said, I'm only 9 pages in, so I'm hoping this is going to be good. A book I've not started yet, which is, I believe, like a standalone YA, which is Winterwood, very witchy vibes. I believe this is like a dual POV about witches. I don't know anything about it other than that. It's a YA, so I should hopefully blast through it quite quickly. I'm not necessarily like the biggest fan of YAs anymore, but I can read a few. I've read the what's it called? Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I have yet to read the third one, but I've read the first 2 and I really enjoyed that, so I'm still like okay with YA, so hopefully this is going to be a good choice. A book I have read the first chapter of already and really have been enjoying is Yellowface by Rebecca F. Kuang. I have not read any of her other books. I know she did The Poppy Wars and Babel. I've not read any of those yet, so this is my first introduction to this author, and basically it's about 2 kind of friends that are writers. One is ridiculously successful whilst the other is struggling, and the one that's ridiculously successful dies all of a sudden, and it's all about her friend taking a manuscript that she'd just finished and publishing it as her own under a pen name that she makes up. and it gets like progressively worse from there. So I'm really excited to finish this and see how it goes. As I said, I'm one chapter in, and so far the writing's really easy. I was a bit intimidated by this author because I know her book Babel, is quite a kind of immersive, tricky read. It's quite heavy, so I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to read her writing very well, but actually it's really nice and easy, and I'm excited to carry on. And the last book that I haven't actually started yet, and another author that's new to me, even though I know she's quite popular, and that's the Atlas Six. There's something about October and autumn time that like magic-y fantasy vibes are the best things to like get your teeth into. So this is one of the books that I chose so that I could get my teeth into some fantasy for this month. This is a hench book. I don't actually know how many pages it's got. Oh, that's acknowledgements. Wow. There's a lot of acknowledgements. Sacred. There's a short story in here as well. 500 pages, this one. So this is a little bit of a trek. As I said, I know it's about magic, and that's about it. I usually like to go into my books blind. This is by Olivia Blake. I believe she did The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I've not read that either. I know that's quite popular in amongst the book world, but I'm hoping to get through that as well. So I have these 4 in total. I am absolutely terrible at reading because I get so distracted with like films and TV shows, so I'm trying to be a better reader, but we'll see if we get through those 4 books. I'm thinking I probably might not even get through one, but we'll see. So that's all of the physical media that I am hoping to digest this month. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Is there anything this month that you guys are looking forward to, either in the cinema or things that you want to watch, or movies that you regularly watch every October? Do you have like a little tradition of what you watch in October? I know I haven't mentioned any particularly Halloween-y films. I'm not a big Halloween person, so I like more of an autumnal film or a horror film. So that's kind of the directions I've been going in this month. So let me know anything that you guys are going to be watching or reading this month, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.